Hello and welcome back to another Royal Reviewer transmission, and today I have quite a few different topics to talk about. We're going to be talking about Prince Harry and something that I missed from the late Queen's funeral, quite shocking in my view. We're also going to be talking about the Royal Germany tour state visit that has been going on. Now, I'm going to start by saying I have worn this tiara on the last few videos, including my live chats, and I wasn't aware that Camilla, the Queen, was going to wear this, was going to break out this magnificent piece for the royal tour of state visit of Germany. But she has. It is a Boucheron tiara. You can also call it the Greville tiara. It's also been referred to, least informally, as the honeycomb tiara. Got a beautiful design, so I'm going to wear it again today. I will wear a different one in the next video. And I'm also wearing my version of the Royal Family Order, which is, of course, the yellow bow and a little miniature portrait of Her late Majesty. So there we go. I feel like I am channeling the vibes of Camilla. But let's get into story number one. Right, so my first story is about Prince Harry, and it's not about his attendance at the recent court case against Associated Newspapers. He is still attending. I think he's attending every single day of the expected 4 days. So I think this is possibly day 3 today. So we've seen him arrive via the front entrance on 2 previous occasions. He's still there, and he's still making sure that it's getting a lot of attention. Whereas other celebrities have gone through the back door, he has made sure that he has been seen up front, going through the front entrance, basically. But that isn't what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is something that completely escaped my notice. Now, we all know that Harry and Meghan have filmed Netflix documentaries, but the thing that to be honest, I can't believe I even missed this. I was scrolling through TikTok, and a TikTok was brought to my attention of people discussing Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, wearing a microphone at the Queen's funeral. So I watched the TikTok, and sure enough, you could see him kind of looking down at it, maybe even giving it a bit of a fiddle. So I thought, okay, could that be a fake? Could it be fake footage? A lot of things can happen these days. I thought, surely not. Surely Prince Harry cannot be mic'd up at his grandmother's funeral. Then I went and I found a reputable photograph of him from the side, taken from the side. And I zoomed in. I'll pop the photo up. And sure enough, you can see a lapel microphone just poking out, just the little furry head of it, poking out from underneath his jacket. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I'm actually in shock. It's true. He was actually mic'd up at the funeral. And I thought, oh, why would he be mic'd up at a funeral? And quite a few different scenarios came into my mind. But the main one is that I was absolutely shocked. So the first reason that I can think of that he would possibly be mic'd up is that maybe he is filming something, or he wants the audio recorded to use in an upcoming something else for Netflix, maybe Netflix Part 2 or something. The second reason is that maybe he just wants to record his conversations, his private conversations with other family members, perhaps to sort of check back what people have said, fact check himself, make sure that things are accurate for maybe an upcoming book or whatever it might be, or even to some kind of, to show other family members, shall we say, about what was said in private. And then I thought, well, maybe a security reason, maybe he needs to communicate with his own protection team. And I thought, well, lots of celebrities who have protection, paid protection that they paid for, don't have microphones on, especially lapel microphones, because normally the protection is close. I mean, that's why it's called close protection. So I thought, what's the reason? Why on earth would he be microphoned up at a funeral? Especially, and the less I think about it, the security reasons sound less tenable because of the massive police and royal security presence, that we're not close protection for him necessarily, but the amount of police that was, policing the public, the amount of royal protection that was policing other royals that he was walking with and alongside. So there was enough protection for him not to need to communicate with his own. I just think, it has to be one of the other reasons. It has to be that he wanted to record private conversations, or he was recording something to perhaps put out for an upcoming documentary, or for something to recall for a passage in an upcoming book, or maybe even a revised account of a book. I don't know, but it just looked, I don't know. I thought, what are you doing? Like, literally, what are you doing? You're at a family funeral, essentially. Although it was very public, it's still at the core, at the heart of it. It's a very personal family occasion. And you're microphoned up. Why? So, did anyone else spot this? I don't know where I've been. Has this been public for a while? I don't know, but it's only just come to my attention. Um, so, yeah, please, please, please let me know your thoughts and comments on why you think Prince Harry was microphoned up for for the Queen's funeral. I just think it's really a strange thing to do, unless you are doing it to record private conversations or to put something out. And if it is for commercial gain, if it does end up and transpire that is being used for commercial gain for himself, that is disgusting. I mean, actually profiteering off your own grandmother's funeral is beyond words. I mean, I have no words for it. It is just disgusting. But we need to reserve judgment because we don't know exactly what it was for. So please let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Right, so next up, I want to talk about something that happened yesterday that is really, really sad. For anyone in the UK, I'm sure you will all be aware that that Paul O'Grady has passed away peacefully yesterday in his sleep. And he did so much work um, over the years. I remember him from like 1994 appearing on The Big Breakfast, all the way through his career to his talk show, his Lily Savage drag queen career, all the way through to the Love of Dogs show, which of course he did in conjunction with Battersea Cats and Dogs Home charity. And he worked very, very closely, of course, with the now Queen Consort, Queen Camilla. So the royal family did put out their own tribute yesterday, saying deeply saddened to hear of the death of Paul O'Grady, who worked closely with Her Majesty in support of Battersea Cats and Dogs, providing lots of laughter and many waggly-tailed memories. Now, of course, they were very, very close. They were really good friends, and they shared a love and a passion, of course, for dogs. Camilla herself has rescue dogs, adopted rescue dogs from Battersea. So I'm going to make a prediction. I do think that as long as her diary schedule will allow, I think that she may attend the funeral. I'm gonna say it here and make a prediction, but I do think that they were that close that she would want to attend his funeral. It is really, really sad, but he was only 67. It's not really a great age, but he did have a family history of heart attacks, and he had some previous heart attacks as well when he was younger. So, I think that's probably um, without without an official release of what caused his passing. I think it was probably something to do with that. But it is really, really sad, and there will be a big gaping hole, especially left at Battersea. He did for the Love of Dogs show for over 10 years. So my thoughts and condolences go out to everyone who's been affected by his sad passing. Also, yesterday was the start of the state visit to Germany by, of course, King Charles and Queen Camilla. Of course, they couldn't do their their visit to France. That was going to be rescheduled at a later date. But the arrival of the King and Queen in Germany, in Berlin, was pretty something to behold. They arrived by British Airways jet, and they were flanked. They had, I mean, it was a real sign of honour. They were flanked by two fighter jets coming into landing. So that was a real sight to behold. If I can find some footage, I'll pop it all up. And then we had the arrival. Now, there was lots of steps. Now, I don't know whether or not, whether or not they should have been cherry picked down. They should have had a cherry picker that could have lifted them down. I don't know, but there was a lot of stairs. It was a long way down, and poor Camilla, she was nearly thwarted again by the wind. I had visions going back to the Commonwealth Day service where she was clutching onto her hat for dear life, and the winds were blowing up her skirts, and she definitely wanted to get in there quick. But today she had yesterday she had the whole of the world's media focused on her, and she had to negotiate a very steep flight of plane steps. Now, let's not forget, she does have a few foot issues. She wears supports in her shoes. So negotiating very steep flights of steps in high wind was probably a bit of a daunting prospect. So you actually saw Charles leading, of course, and the Queen following behind, and they were gripping onto the rail for dear life. There was really a risk of slippage, I'm sure. But not only that, there was the wind to contend with. So there was Camilla gripping onto her hat for dear life, and she was wearing this beautiful turquoise colour, Bruce Oldfield designed sort of coat and dress, and then she had one of the late Queen's jewels on her, like turquoise brooch. She looked gorgeous. Philip Tracy hat. So there she was, clutching, trying desperately not to topple down the stairs like one of those toy slinkies from the 80s, going cascading down the steps. So hats off to Charles and Camilla for getting down those steps. It did look a little bit tricky, but they made it, and they had a brilliant welcome, red carpet welcome, no less, in Germany. Then they were taken to the Brandenburg Gate, one of the city's most important landmarks, to begin the first state visit of the new reign. And Buckingham Palace says that it was a pleasure for the King and Queen to meet so many people that came out to welcome them. Then it was time for the King to join the President and other leaders to hear how countries, businesses, and civil society are working together to decarbonise global energy systems. Then, after a short rest, it was time for a state banquet. Now, of course, time for the finery, and this is why I am wearing the apparel that I am wearing today. Unfortunately, I couldn't replicate a Bruce Oldfield designed gown, which Camilla looked beautiful in, that kind of black and silver design. But she was wearing this beautiful royal family order, and she was wearing the Boucheron, honeycomb, or Greville tiara, whatever you want to call it as. But she did look absolutely incredible. I'm just zooming in on a picture in front of me. I'll pop it up. She looked spectacular. King Charles looked amazing too in all of his finery and royal sash. Camilla was also wearing one of the late Queen's fringed necklaces. And a dazzling pair of earrings. So definitely looking the part for the occasion, and everyone looked very, very happy. And King Charles delivered an incredible speech in German, no less.
Ich habe festgestellt, dass ich tatsächlich mehr als 40 Mal in Deutschland gewesen bin. Darin zeigt sich natürlich, wie wichtig mir unsere Beziehungen sind, aber auch, so fürchte ich, wie lange es mich schon gibt. An jeden dieser Besucher habe ich Erinnerungen, an die ich sehr gerne zurückdenke. Over all these years, and in so many ways, I have been struck by the warmth of the friendship between our nations and by the vitality of our partnership in countless areas.
Now, we know that the late Queen was a fluent French speaker and she delivered many speeches in fluent French. But there we have it. Charles must have been practicing and brushing up on his German. I don't know how he sounded in German. I don't speak German, so I would appreciate someone who speaks German to let me know, how he did with the delivery of the speech. Was any of the nuances lost in his delivery? What sort of an accent did he have in German? Did he sound very British trying to speak German? I would love to know. So, and I will pop up a picture of the speech in full as well. But there were some key moments where he says, "Over all these years, and in so many ways, I have been struck by the warmth of the friendship between our nations and by the vitality of our partnership." He also touched up on lots of ecological topics. He says, "I recall in particular how much I have learned from my visits over the years about organic and agroecological farming, and I credit German expertise with greatly improving my own farms and soil." So it was a very important, I think, message, including touching on the war in Ukraine. He says, "I did want to pay a particular tribute to Germany's extraordinary hospitality in hosting over 1 million Ukrainian refugees. This, it seems to me, so powerfully demonstrates the generosity of spirit of the German people." And the royal visit continues today. Only a few hours ago, the royal family tweeted, "Berlin's weekly farmers market first opened over 150 years ago as a place of trade and a meeting point where news and goods could be exchanged." And of course, Charles and Camilla visited. Now, farmers markets are exactly up the King's Street. He does often like to visit farmers markets, and he was seen paying particular attention to what was on offer. So I bet everything smelt absolutely incredible. I bet the sights, the sounds, the smells was just a sensory overload, which would have been really nice. And I'm just looking at some really juicy apples that Camilla was looking over. So I hope that she enjoyed tasting everything, all the samples. Make sure whenever you go to a farmer's market to get those free samples. Absolutely. So the visit is still going ahead. Things will be coming throughout the day. So I'm just really, really pleased that the first state visit has gone so well. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, then please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course do hit that bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, mwah, to you all, and goodbye.